Aussie housing is crashing. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee because if you're like me, you've been seeing the news article after article warning about the biggest crash in decades in Australian property. Now you have to remember, guys, we had an insane surge in the price of property. So coming off a peak, it makes sense. And even if we have the biggest monthly crash in decades, it's not like property is going to be affordable to all the people that were complaining back in 2019. You have to look at how far back we go in years. Let's look at asking prices. Let's go Melbourne today. Let's bring up Melbourne, and there we go. So we can see there it's come off a little bit, but if we go to say 10% from here, we lose. Let's say 150 grand, a bit over 10%, but you know what I mean. We'll go down to 1 million. How far back in time we're going? We're going to 2019? That's how far back in time that we're going. So you've got to always put these price movements into perspective. How many years are you losing on capital growth? And it can come back just as fast in the future. You've got to remember, Labor has approved increased migration. There's increased student demand here for Australia. So we'll have to see. And we're going to have increased supply capacity as builders are going under left, right and centre. So Australian property collapse speeding up according to the Commonwealth Bank. And this is written by Holly Hayes. A new graph shows the dramatic fall of house prices across all capital cities, with the peak expected in coming months. So, Australia's property prices have continued to plummet. As experts predict, the mass downturn is still far from over. It's barely started. New figures reveal selling prices fell across all capital cities in August, which marks a new drop in the market's April peak. This was felt hardest in Sydney, Melbourne and Brisbane, but more modest declines were still recorded in Adelaide and Perth. So let's have a look. Brisbane down 0.32. Okay. Oh no, we're still up 16.63%. I mean, Sydney down 0.49. Annual still down 0.87. Uh-oh. But look how expensive it is, $999,000. Look at the annual prices. Here we go, Adelaide. Down 0.12. Still up 18.58. So you're going to see Melbourne and Sydney cooling off, guys, and then probably Brisbane a little bit too. But there'll be more demand for Brisbane and Adelaide and Perth and some of the other cities. I mean, look at Perth and Darwin. They're still going well, both of them. So I can't see this dramatic correction, even if we took 20% off housing. If 20% off, because we had such a run-up, it's not going to be affordable to all the people who've been waiting on the sidelines forever. I'm sorry to say, guys, I think the property bros may win out in the long run, particularly with the supply issues that we're going to have here with increasing capacity to build housing in the next few years. An update from the Commonwealth Bank concluded the market's major price slide would have the same impact but happen fast than first predicted. We did not change our expectations that national dwelling prices will fall from peak to trough, the update read. But we now see the trough reach sooner, given prices are falling at a slightly quicker pace than we anticipated. Our expectation that the RBA cuts the cash rate by 50 basis points in H2 2023 sees home prices rise modestly on our central scenario over late 2023. CBA went on to say that the market's current trajectory can only be described as a collapse in prices. However, the bank said if the RBA takes the cash rate lower in H2 2023, as per their forecast, then home prices are likely to rise. Remember, we saw reporting about the modelling from the RBA of a 40% fall. We had our first recession in 28 years, nearly 3 decades. We had a global pandemic and the government locked down entire parts of the economy. People were forced to stay home and unable to work. And what happened to housing? What happened to housing? It went insane. It went insane. Notably, Sydney and Melbourne's housing markets are the most responsive initially to RBA cuts, given they were the first to enter the correction phase. New ABS data released on Thursday. The value of new home loan commitments fell 8.5% for housing in July 2022. For owner-occupier housing, it fell 1.9%, but was 13% higher compared to a year ago. It was at its second highest level following the record high reached in June. For investors, housing rose 0.3%, but was 3.1% lower compared to a year ago. So there we go, everyone. Well, let's have a bit of a talk about this. So housing is collapsing faster than anticipated. It's going to go crashing down. I don't know, guys. Honestly, we've seen this so many times, and the fear, the FOMO, the fear of paying too much, it gets the clicks, it gets the eyeballs. Property is an obsession here in Australia. I think people here are brought up with the idea of investing in property, using property as a way to grow a passive income stream, as a way to grow wealth. We saw that guy with over 280 properties. What do you think the chances are that his entire wealth is just tied up into properties? He hasn't diversified into anything else. I spoke to someone today. He was complaining about one of his clients could only ever do one job, hadn't set up a passive income, nothing. And I said, well, mate, why aren't you investing? Why isn't he investing in shares to get some passive income going in? The young guy hadn't heard about it. I said, well, buy some boring ETFs or companies that and look at them, just put $500 to learn. Teach yourself some things. And then in 2 years' time, you chuck a little bit of money here and you build up a little stake and money starts coming for nothing. Less hassle, less problems, less issue, but there's risk too, but easier to liquefy than housing. But Australia's a housing culture, guys. It's a national religion here in Australia. I was thinking, what would be funny would be to start up the Not in My Backyard party, like a political party, and you just, as a joke, but see if people would take it serious, where the whole objective of the party is to keep housing at higher prices. Get rid of any pretense of giving a shit about affordable housing. It's just the NIMBY party. The goal is to get housing as high and as expensive as it is, and just go out there and see how many people would be interested in a party like that. I bet you they'd come out of the woodwork. I bet you there'd be a lot of them. Shit, it may be the only way to get people to not vote for the major two. There's an idea. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on this one. Are you worried about property crashing in Australia? Or are you focusing on what you can actually control? Are you hoping that it will crash to a level that you can jump in? Or did you sell up and you're waiting just to snap up a bargain? Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Check out my other channels, HeiseBim, HeiseSays International, for other content I create. And if you want to support us, there are a few ways you can. Financially on YouTube or Patreon, using our referral links from Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve. Buy our pocket squares or call us if you need an architect. Take care, everyone. Have a great night, and I'll see you in the next episode of HeiseSays. I wonder if we'll get a 50% cash prediction from the RBA. Maybe if we're lucky.